Well, howdy. Nearly Senior Citizen here. Greetings, boys and girls, and hopefully another thumbnail from the Google Deep Dream Generator. I like making those very, very frightening looking thumbnails. I was out earlier this morning getting my morning THC, so time to get this out of my pocket. Well, when you go outside, you'd best have it with you. And my shirt is driving me crazy. Thumbs up for that. Anyway, though, a couple things I've wanted to talk about, but I've got so much that, boy howdy. Anyway, I better get started first for the Shelton, Washington daily weather, plague rat, and spider report on the weather. It was raining all day on and off yesterday, sprinkling during the daytime. Now, during the nighttime, I still had to go walkies. I still need, because I don't have a working vehicle anymore, I have to carry everything I eat and drink on a daily basis, because I have to carry it a couple miles to get back home. So I go out daily. So it was still sprinkling. I took my umbrella, and on the way to Safeway, the local Safeway from where I live, it was sprinkling on and off, but by the time I got there, it was like so low, I was wondering, am I even going to need my umbrella when I leave? Well, by the time I finished and left, it was raining hard. So I had to carry my umbrella, not up like this. I stretched my arm out and down as much as possible because I'm also having to carry groceries, but I kept my arm downward and unfortunately bent because otherwise it would have gone smack with the metal parts of the umbrella against my head and that wouldn't have worked. So I had to hold my umbrella up a bit while my arm was still stretched out and down, with the umbrella above me holding off the falling water. Yay! And then I'll come back to that because there's an annoying part of what happened that night, and it ties into a question that somebody asked in the comments a bit ago when I asked for questions, and I'm still working my way through them because I'm answering one today. But back on to the plague rat report. I walked so late and it was raining. There weren't many people out. The people that were at Safeway, some of them were wearing their masks properly. Some of them weren't. So joy. But on the spider report, the little tiny bathroom spider, I called it my basement again. I call it basement, I think, because I'm in a 2-story house type thing. It's not a house, it's part of a duplex. But I'm up on the upper story here, so if I have to go down to the bathroom or the kitchen, I go downstairs. So I tend to call that the basement, even though it's not. But the bathroom spider is fine, and that's a good thing. Over there in the corner, the orb weaving spider is still good, I think. From this distance, she's cocked at an angle, so hopefully she's okay. Now, there are a couple other spiders over there, so hopefully there's not going to be a fight, and hopefully she's not going to lose, and this keeps flopping over. All my shirts are so old. Anyway, though, so that's the spider report and in life. A good thing. Now, the question was, if I can locate it here, this person asked, oh, good golly, Miss Molly, it was before you were, I'm guessing, retired, what did you do for a living? Well, I'm not retired. I don't work, yes, but that's because I am disabled. In 2003, I injured myself so badly that I can't work. I can't even stand in place for more than 20 minutes, half hour at a time, and then I have to sit down for like 4 hours at a shot. I can go walking for like 2 hours at a time, but then I have to sit down, possibly even lie down, because my nerves and my back are so inflamed. So I wish it was retired, but I am disabled. I spent 15 years working as a nurse's assistant. Now, the problem is, of course, my back, even before that, has always been a mess. I have found out through MRIs and x-rays and all that my lower spine especially, it's like, our spines are not the best. We all have back problems to some degree. But instead of being a nice, tower of blocks, mine are like loosely jumbled and just tossed into place like a child stacked them. And then my upper back, I have a thankfully mild case of scoliosis where my vertebrae, instead of being, like this, on my upper back, they're twisted like this. So they're still roughly in line, but everything pushes forward on this side, and this side my rib cage doesn't open up properly. Yay. But I'm, going to be 58 this October. I'm still alive, so can't have been that terrible. But because of that, working as a nurse's aide, I actually, from 1989 to 2003 is how long I worked as a nurse's aide before I injured myself so badly, because all through my career, I have had debilitating back injuries. And in 2003 is when I had the worst injury, and it just destroyed my back. But it wasn't a huge thing that did it. It was just, here's a handful of straw, 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 and the last injury was just enough to finally break the camel's back. And that's what happened. So from 2003 on, I have just, it pushed me over the line. I haven't been able to do things. But I do what I can. I stay as active as possible, and as I've mentioned, the only reason that I am able to do anything at all, because before I started using cannabis for pain control, I could not use my hands. I could not even sign my name. I was using a walker, and I was on my way to becoming wheelchair bound. And if things did not stop, that would have gotten worse to bed bound. I was on opiates and a ton of other meds. Nothing. I'm off every single one of those meds, and I take cannabis. And I can move. Sure, I have pain, and if I really concentrate on it, it's horrible. But if I don't, thumbs up for that. Now, since 2003, I worked until 2005, but I worked as best I could until they put me on light duty, and then I just started feeding people in the dining room primarily, and then taking stuff from the kitchen out and helping to feed people during, naps and snacks. So I was able to work until they realized that I can't do what I used to do, and then they put me on light duty, and then when I couldn't come off, then they had to let me go. Now, I have no issues with the company that hired me, because by their own rules, you can be on light duty for 3 months, and if you can't come off light duty after 3 months, they're going to let you go. They let me stay on for a full year on light duty, and then they said, are you going to be able to come back? At which point I had to go to my various doctors, and then came back and just said, no, I can't. At which point they said, we're going to have to let you go. But it was good on their side, good on my side, as best as a situation like that can be. So from that time on, I have not worked. Now, I got married in 2002, so I and my wife still did things, but upon her death in 2014, I have just been alone. Now, one of the big things that ties into that is on my walk last night, because of my spine injuries, because I have a lot of spinal injuries, starting way up here and moving downward, I have numb spots all over my back, and I have neuropathy as well as sciatica in my legs. Thumbs up. Neuropathy is a combination of either just pain or pain with your legs don't work quite right. Now, I'm doing better, because I used to stumble and sometimes fall when walking, even just going out walkies on just my regular walkies. I haven't stumbled and fallen for a long time, but my feet still don't do it. I will tell my body, lift your feet up high, and my body feels like it's going like this. But in reality, I scuff my toe along the ground as I bring my leg forward, because my body just goes, okay, it's up high in the air, but no, it's not. So last night, I'm walking. My legs have done pretty good. My feet have done pretty good. My shoes are damp from the rain, but not soaked. And then I hit a puddle. I see it. I tell my body, lift your foot to get over this. And I'd been doing really good, lifting up my feet up high. So I lifted up my leg high, stepped forward, And instead it just scraped and ran right through the middle of the mud puddle, soaking my foot. Thanks, neuropathy. Not my body's fault, it's doing what it can. But that was fun, walking home with a very, very wet foot for the rest of the night. Thumbs up on that. But that's my one story with the person's question. Before I was retired, what did I do for a living? In 1989. Well, in 1982, I went into the Air Force basics training. So in 1983, I went to my first base. 1985-86 is when they started the process of getting rid of me, because in 1985-1986, there were too many people in the service. And so they did the Gramm-Rudman Act, where if you were within 6 months of your re-up time and you weren't going to re-up, they were just letting you go right then. And I extended so that I didn't have to get out from the service overseas, came over here, and then the Gramm-Rudman Act, they got rid of my extension and I was out. So after that, from 1986 to 1989, I just bummed around for doing random weird things. In 1989, I got a job as a nurse's aide, and then that I discovered was what I was, a caregiver. We don't know who we are. We discover who we are through life as we stumble into things. And so from 1989 to 2003, I was a caregiver. I still do what I can now, but it's mostly just through videos and such, trying to caregive and help people that way. Thumbs up for that. I did have some other things that I wanted to talk about, not a ton, because I've talked about my back. I don't really want to talk about what's happening with the U.S. and the Post Service, because for over 200 years now, they have used the Postal Service to deliver children. They actually you could mail a child. You didn't put them in a box. The Postal Service people took care of the child all the way through the travel to wherever they were going. And it was good. All up until this year, farmers could mail 100 or 200 chicks in a crate. And aside from 1 or 2 of them dying, they would all arrive safe and sound. This year, after Trump appointed one of his people into the post office people, they have been closing mailboxes, they have been shutting down machines, they have been doing everything they can to destroy it. Farmers are getting crates of hundreds of dead chicks. There is rotting food everywhere. Rats are just going through the machines like crazy. They've been unplugging everything. It is just the end of the United States and the American Empire. I don't know what's going to happen within the next year, but it's not good. But also, on something slightly less depressing than that, I've still been thinking about my cosmic horrors, of course, and trying to think on them and how neurotic they are and such like that. Because my cosmic horrors, even though we'll never get to interact with them, quote unquote, and in my fiction I only write about the actual horrors themselves in a young adult fashion. And still, just as a quick reminder, they're not unbroken. I mean, there's Beta Nera, who is the kind of fish-based cosmic horror, water-based. It lives in the bottom of oceans, 7, 8, 30, 40 miles down on different worlds and different realities. Why? Not because it really likes it there, it's agoraphobic. All that open space up there, terrifying. And so it lives under the water. That's not exactly healthy, is it? And then there's Erogots, a cosmic horror who's just sending webs out throughout the multiverse with all of its various little helpers and all this information coming in, and it's basically trying to catalog the multiverse. But the multiverse is growing at an infinite rate, with things dying and springing up all the time. It's impossible, but it's gonna try. It's gonna try. It's gonna try. They're not unbroken individuals. They're all very neurotic and very broken. After all, even my favorite one, Gotzi Ray, its issues is overconfidence, and even its defining moment that brings it into its full maturity it doesn't learn its lesson enough, and that's why in a later story, when overconfidence, it's undoing again. It's the undoing of the familial bonds, and Amaterasu, its mother, just has to say, no. So they're all very, very broken individuals as well, even though we would never be able to interact with them. I just think that's interesting. And I've opened up 24 hours worth of comments in my community tab, and I'm going to go through and thank 20 to 25 people for having left me a comment. I'm not reading the comments right now, just thanking you for having left a comment. If I mispronounce a username, no disrespect is intended. I'm an American English speaker, and even though I count in American Sign Language with my depression, fibro, ADHD, grief, mourning, and more, I'm amazed that I can remember anything at all, though I'm getting better all the time. So we had, there were not many comments, so likely there is Chris, thumbs up and thank you, and I give up, greatly appreciated. Ricky T, rock climbing, that's okay. Eli, 23 art, thumbs up and thank you. Kathy Kisscat, good to see you in the comments. Christopher Thomas, thumbs up. YN, thank you. Violetta Abigail Roca Montalvo, greatly appreciated. QP Minecraft Pro, thumbs up. And then we have Squall BH, greatly appreciated. L Weird, thumbs up and thank you. And oh, ouch. Russian Timing, greatly appreciated. Tall Dude 123, thank you very, very much. Tercio Philo, I've never been sure how to pronounce your name, but it's good to see you in the comments again. Sebastian Ferris, thumbs up. Colin Reisner, greatly appreciated. Ice Damon, good to see you. NO0ORANO, hard to pronounce, it's not going to try. Thank you very, very much. Then we have Lord of Sadness, thumbs up, and actually that was yesterday's, so it was 18, just 18 people left me comments on all of my videos yesterday, which is fine, it happens. Anybody at all leaving comments, anybody at all watching any of my videos, thank you so much. It is greatly, greatly appreciated. Getting me out of my head, into the world, dealing with real people. You got to get out of the echo chamber of your skull, especially right now with all this social distancing. If you could check out my various links down below, I have Twitter, Facebook, GoFundMe, Patreon.com. If you could donate to my GoFundMe campaign or become a Patreon.com patron like one of these beautiful and awesome people, that would be beautiful and awesome. And if you wanted to help me out without sending money to one of those two places, I have a PayPal link down below. And if you wanted to help me out without sending money, I have an Amazon wish list link as well, with things like hamster food, hamster bedding, cat food. If you could check it out, that would be very awesome. Now, do not feel obligated. I do not feel entitled. And if you cannot donate or you simply do not donate, I take all good wishes and I deposit them in the bank of my heart, where I draw interest. Thank you very much. If you could toss me a like, I appreciate all the positive validation I get for my existence. And of course, if you could subscribe to the channel and hit that bell, that would be very cool, greatly appreciated. I would understand if you didn't wish to, but if you are down with it, I will do my best to keep you entertained from now until the literal end of time. Or at least, hopefully, in the next couple years. Unless I, get hit by a bus or something, or you get hit by a bus. After all, if I'm still making videos, but you get hit by a bus, you're not going to be watching them anymore, are you? Anyway, though, you take care. Have a great day today. I will see you on the flip side, and my thanks to all three of you who watched these to the end. It is appreciated. I know there's hopefully more than three, but, it's for humor's sake. So, practice your social distancing, practice your self-care, and what's the other one? Wear a mask, and of course, justice for everybody that these jackbooted, brown-shirted thugs keep killing. And yes, damn it, Black Lives Matter. I will see you.